Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the Old Lyme Parks and Rec Commission meeting to order. This is the September 7th meeting. First thing is the attendance at the table is Mary Ellen, Sarah, Winnie, and Don, and myself. And is anybody out there? Ryan?
Hey, Bob, Brendan, I'm here.
Brendan? Okay, Brendan, good. Ryan may be able to call in a little bit later, we'll see. So, we have a quorum, and we have a few absentee members. Okay, previous meeting minutes. I read them, they look fine. Anybody have any comments about them for the August 3rd meeting? No? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion? Hey, Ryan, you there? Okay, if somebody would like to make a motion.
I will, I move to approve the...
Okay. Mary Ellen, you want a second? Mary Ellen,
second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? No? Staying no. So Ryan, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Bob.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Okay, next matter of business is Director's Report, but we have a couple representatives from the Little League here, so I would ask somebody to make a motion to move 5A under Old Business, Little League Fields, Cross Lane, up to this slot. Somebody make a motion?
I'll move agenda item, Old Business, Little League Fields at Crossland Park to this point in the agenda.
Okay. Second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? No. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay. There you got it. Guys, go ahead, Matt.
I want to thank you for doing that and getting this on your agenda. I wanted to give you an update as far as it was a couple, 3 months ago where the commission allowed an outside entity to use the Cross Lane boys Little League field. And twofold. One, our fall season is starting, like this weekend.
Yeah.
And we had our board meeting, and it was unanimous with my board that, well, we don't want to have outside agencies on that particular field. There was no maintenance by the outside entity whatsoever.
Wait. So this Nick, who's have this AAU team or whatever it is, hasn't maintained the fields at all?
Not at all.
Okay, he was supposed to do that as part of the agreement. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to clarify.
It hasn't been as positive as Mr. Spira had proposed it to be. And quite frankly, I mean, we're redoing the whole field right now on our own. And that's fine. We love the autonomy, and we love taking care of the field, but if there are, our suggestion to the commission is if there are outside entities that want to use our fields, I would first start with Town Woods. Now, I understand the Shoreline Sting was using the softball field up there, and in conjunction with the adult, that field looks great. I don't know who's doing it, but yeah, it looks fantastic. And like I said, our fall schedule is starting, and we're going to be on that field 7 days a week. And I don't want to have any conflicts with Mr. Spear or his group. I'm sorry, Michelle Lee, what aren't you now? Our boys player agent, Ms. Al Furrow, our vice president of baseball operations. And like I said, we had our board meeting, and they are more than free to speak to you. We're all on the same page and said, look, let's not go through this again. Especially for no money, and there was no, and that would be my suggestion to the commission is you ought to consider a fee structure. Because I don't think this is going to be the first time. We have great fields, and I think we all know that, and I think all the stakeholders take pride in that. Well, some folks who are residents may want to do this again. I don't know. I most certainly won't. But that well?
You covered a lot of it. In my opinion, there was no, his end of the bargain wasn't upheld. In my opinion, it wasn't going to be either. He likes to me, he says what you want to hear and moves on. But there was no upkeep. He'll say there's probably nothing available to upkeep, but he offered to bring his own stuff too. So, but our field, we maintain it. We take a lot of pride in it, and we put a lot of work into it. And to have somebody come and use it and more or less take advantage of the services we provide without at least paying for it is my opinion.
I was not part, that was not the agreement.
No, I know that wasn't the agreement.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, by the way, did part of the agreement too was that the Little League got preference for scheduling? How did the scheduling work out on this?
Well, we stayed away because it was our summertime. How we set up structured our league is springtime, as we all know, is a traditional, that's when it all counts. And then once All Stars is over with, which is usually by the end of July, then we have what we call our instructional league, which is our summer program, which is smaller. And then the fall, that's where more interest kicks up. Right now we have 3 boys teams that need that field. And I don't think it would be right for me to kick any of our kids up to Town of Woods.
Oh, no.
Everybody, that majors field is, you have to realize years ago, when I first started as president, if you weren't on a majors team, you weren't getting on that field. And I didn't think that was right, because I wanted the younger kids to look up to having the opportunity to play on that field. Because it is a special field, and it's well put together, and it's really nice. I agree, wholeheartedly. But now he says to let an outside person in. But we respected his scheduling requests. We didn't conflict or coordinate anything that, game-wise or anything to conflict with whatever he was doing. And so now, like, today is a Thursday, and he's not down there, so I don't know what's transpired with the program, if it's folded.
He's usually showing up on Thursdays?
He was there Thursdays and Sundays.
Yes.
There's been a few times people have been down there, he hasn't been on his days.
But now...
We haven't had communication with him either.
Do you guys, I've asked Don to get, and we haven't gotten a response yet. It was also said something about there were going to be 7 or 8 old Lyme kids or Lyme kids on this team. Do you have any idea what the roster is or who these people are that are playing?
I know that there were probably, I'd say, 5 that I could name, but 7 or 8, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully Don will eventually get the roster for that.
It's going to change if you want to.
Yeah. We had certain stipulations for that agreement, and it seems that he's not following all those, especially upkeep of the field and scheduling. Now it's a scheduling problem. Is this what I'm hearing? Yeah. And you guys, of course, have a preference for that. Does anybody would like to comment on that, on this development, where we go from here? And I'm disappointed that the agreement that we had, the verbal agreement at the meeting, was not followed through by Mr. Spear. Any?
My comment was, I thought it had fallen. I thought it wasn't even going to happen afterwards, so I really didn't pay much attention to it afterwards. But I was sorry that of approving it, only because I thought it was, good for kids to use the field. But then afterwards, it wasn't a good idea.
I don't want anybody here don't feel bad.
Oh no, but it was like that same evening. I wish we had had more time, maybe to
Well, and I'm not
let think about it.
My advice here, even right now, is to say, deliberate on your, however you want to be. We don't have to sit here, and you don't have to give us an answer right now, because
I'd like to
Xperi hasn't communicated with us at all.
Yeah, I'd like the commissioners to comment on it, Sarah, you would like to say something?
I wasn't present at the meeting that this agreement was
Yeah.
made, so I'm not fluid with the facts and the background as to the scope of the agreement. I'm getting some of the pieces of it as you're talking, and there were parameters, there was upkeep that was supposed to be done. How long was the agreement supposed to last?
It was just for this fall
for the
season,
season.
or through the fall, I
It
guess.
was gonna go summer and then up to the fall, and then the big caveat there was because of our fall schedule, and participation numbers increasing, there may be conflicts, and that's where the commission said, well, if there is a conflict on scheduling, then Little League would prevail.
That's right.
So in summertime, we have not had anything like that.
And he was pretty serious that he would not use town woods, which was kind of,
No, but
which is their problem.
that doesn't matter what
No, I mean,
his
but-
opinion of that was. The
I
fields
mean-
are fine for practicing. Has he had any games there at all?
Maybe I don't know.
And anytime I come down, I've only seen practices, I've never seen more than 6 or 7 kids. But I think they played a couple of games, but I don't think that, I have no idea if they played there. I know they played a couple of race lines.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Were there dates on the use form?
What's that?
Did he have dates, or were there dates listed on the use form?
I don't remember offhand. I think it was just like a here to there type of thing.
No, because they were supposed to work with Little League to set up
No,
the
I
schedule.
know, but did it say from, what I mean, did it say like from spring to fall, September or whatever?
I don't remember offhand.
Winnie or Don, you like to say anything?
Well, I just think that obviously Little League gets first preference to the use of the field. That's never been in question. If Mr. Spera is not compliant with what we've asked him to do, then that's going to be discussed. I think it needs to be discussed with the full commission and get everybody's opinion, because we've been getting information sent to us from emails and stuff about the subject.
And when you say upkeep of the field, sorry to interrupt, just want to clarify what that really means. After, just like we ask all of our coaches to use that field, after the field is used, please rake the mound down to get, fill in the holes that are put there for the pitchers, because generally you dig a little hole and then put their foot in. But fill the hole in as best as you can, rake the mound down, rake the baseline and the infield as best as you can in order to get rid of all the cleat marks so there's no dangerous holes or divots for when the kids are running. That's the kind of upkeep we're talking about here. We're not asking him to
Mowing.
mow the lawn.
But how about the lines? You guys line you?
Every team is responsible for lining their field.
Yeah, and he hasn't done that either? Okay. Brendan,
Yes. would you like to comment?
Well, I think I agree with Don. If little, so the at the last meeting when this came up, or whenever that meeting was when it came up, it was, my recollection was that it dealt with spring into summer. We're now into fall. If Little League has the priority over the field, then Little League has the priority over the field. I don't think that they need our permission for that now or in the future. I think that that's just the way it is. I think the conflict, if any, is going to come if he wants to use the field when Little League is not there. Then what? I don't know. I tend to agree with Don. I think we have to have a full commission on this and put it on the agenda. Because candidly, my recollection from the last hearing was I don't know how we keep him out. So maybe there's a way, and I just don't know it offhand.
well, the way was, Brendan, if there was a conflict in any way that he had to go to Town Woods, I mean, that was what was decided.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying, Bob, is what if he wants to use the field down there when there is no conflict? Well, I mean, what's Little League's position on that?
We're going to be using it 7 days. I'm coaching the major.
Let's say you're done at 5 and he goes from 5:30 to 7.
We would prefer you go to Town Woods. The other travel.
So yeah, that I understood, and so that's Little League doesn't want him down there. So I guess the
Right.
question ultimately is, if when he goes, if he's going to go down there, can he go down there?
Yeah, okay, Brian, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I mean, that was very eloquently put by others. I don't have a ton to add, but I mean, I totally get where Matt's coming from also. I mean, a baseball field needs to be kept up, and
Right.
if Little League is running a practice and they know they have a practice the next day and they rake the field out so it's ready to go the next day when practice starts and they're not wasting time raking the field, and then they show up and the field's a mess, like that's a problem.
Excuse me.
Because if they do the maintenance to make the field ready to go for their next practice the next day, and then they show up and it's not in that same condition, then they're now wasting time in their practice to rake out the field and make it safe. So I agree with that. I had voted against this, and I was afraid that there were too many potential conflicts and strings attached. But I also understand what Brendan's saying is, you know, how are you going to keep someone from using a field? It's a town field too. So.
Yeah, well, that's kind of hard to do when there's nobody around, but certainly.
There is no basis to keep, other than a direct conflict, there was no basis to keep someone from using the field when they don't abide by.
Are they down there? No, where'd they go?
Criteria?
They keep right there. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's pretty obvious that Mr. Spear didn't follow all the agreements here, especially when it came to maintenance of these fields. I think we have 5 commissioners. Yeah, we have 5 commissioners. I think maybe what we can do is have a discussion about should he just, now that the fall season's begun and Little League needs priority over fields, especially I guess it's the afternoon and evenings when you do it the most, yeah, that Mr. Spear said that he would go to Town Woods if there was a conflict. So it seems that we're having conflicts here, so maybe we could say that he should be having he can go to Town Woods and have a practice and a game if he wants.
I think what Brendan is saying, though, is that if there isn't a direct conflict on time, do we have a basis to say go to Town Woods? And again, I wasn't here for the initial hearing.
Well, the part that disturbs me is that he's not maintaining the fields.
I don't disagree that should be the outcome. I'm just saying, what is the process and basis for it?
Yeah.
That's my only question, Bob, which is if there's no direct conflict, obviously Little League, if they're down there 7 days a week and all day and all night, fair play, it's their field. But
right.
When they're not, and if he's going to go in there and try and use it, how does the commission keep him out? I'm asking, I'm not using that as a statement. I'm just saying I don't know the answer to that. So if I'm going to vote, I don't know how I can because I don't know how we do that. I mean, maybe Don, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Don,
Never come up before, so.
Yeah. I think the easy solution is just to tell him that, okay, now that the fall season's started, there seems to be some conflicts. You didn't take care of the fields. Would you please use the Town Woods fields?
I come back.
That's fair. I mean, I'm also taking into consideration, Don, the subject here too, which is, you know, who it is that we're dealing with. I'm just trying to.
Well, that's a separate issue. I mean, yeah.
Wait, were you going to say something previously?
Well, because I've been president, I think 10 years or however long it's been, we used to have signs on the fences. One was about dogs, and the other one was about usage, and it would say, you know, contact Little League. I believe it said contact Little League. We used to have a phone years ago. Nobody ever answered it because it was in the garage. But I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, I'll go for the signs to put up because we'd have other people, you know, little Joey and his dad want to have BP.
Sure. Sure.
And really that wasn't such a big deal because, okay, maybe he's pitching off the mound and, you know, they fix the mound or they don't fix the mound. When you have another team going in there using it and then not maintaining it, therein lies the real problem.
That is certainly a problem.
It's a fair argument. I agree.
Yeah. I think can we maybe make some sort of motion now that more scheduling conflicts may occur or are occurring, that Mr. Spear,
I just think we have to make it more than that. If he didn't hold up his end of the agreement
right,
at all.
right, so.
I mean, if you went into somebody's property and
Right, well, that's why
they would say, don't come back again.
That's what I'm saying, because Town Woods, because of the steep grants, is open to the public. So he and his team could go there and practice.
But they still have to get permission from Don.
Well, he would have to fill out a
He can't
facilities,
show up.
yeah, he has to fill out a facilities form for that.
I mean, if he had to go there and use the field, that would be fine, but he'd have to get permission. from
Right. So what I'm saying is just since, especially the maintenance part is bothersome, since he hasn't done that, and there seems to be some conflict there of, well, besides scheduling, of just maintaining the fields in the nice way that Little League maintains them, that why not just we'll just say that, now that the falls come here, please use Town Woods Park. That's open to the public. What do you think?
After filling out a form,
Right.
and, because there's some other stuff going on up there.
Right.
Up there.
Right, he'd have to fill out a form and say when he's going to be there with his, quote, team. So let's, Brendan and Ryan, what do you think about that idea? Hello?
I mean, no, I'm here.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'll be brief. I understand it. To me, it doesn't sound like any big deal, and I think that it's fine. I foresee a pushback on this, and when that pushback comes, I don't think that. I'm just talking for Brendan McKeever. I don't know the answer to that question still.
Yeah.
And I'll just say the same thing I said last time. Is I don't see any reason why there's a problem with Townwood Park. My own children played. My son played majors games at Townwood. It's a good field. It's in good shape. I don't know. Like, if you're just looking for a baseball field to practice on, I don't see why that's a problem.
Right.
So I agree with Brendan. I anticipate pushback, but my stance on this last time was, if the field is good enough for adults to play softball on, and if the baseball field over there is good enough for major teams to play games on, I don't know why it's not good enough for U9 kids to practice on.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that, but also see that there has been problems maintaining the fields, and I guess, he said he was going to do it, but he's not doing it, and so I think the commission should just make a motion to, pending filling out a facilities use form, that he go to Town Woods now and have his games or practices. Yeah.
It was a pilot program. It was an opportunity for
We'll try.
kids of the town to, hey, you're going to play on this special field with these more talented kids, Little League, and that's wonderful. It's a wonderful concept. Don't get me wrong. I agree with it. But you failed to uphold it in that pilot program. You didn't do the things you said you were going to do.
Right. I totally agree with you, Matt.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. That's fair.
Yes. Because of these developments or lack thereof of what he said he was going to do, I would like the commission just to say, we make a motion that Mr. Spear, because of not maintaining fields and holding up his end of the bargain, he can go out to Town Woods and play now.
Pending a facilities use form approval.
Pending facilities.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Is it revoking or saying that his existing form has expired or been negated?
we don't know the dates on it.
Because we don't know the dates on it. I'm just saying,
Yeah. Well-
in terms of framing the motion.
Okay, you want to frame the motion?
No, I mean, again, the use form, it sounds like it was for a limited basis, and there were
Yeah, it was good.
parameters and obligations on him. He did not live up to those.
Yes.
And also it may be expired.
Yeah,
So the motion would say you no longer have use as previously authorized,
right.
and if you want to use fields, and there's direct conflict because they plan to use it 7 days a week, those three things. If he wants to use Town Woods, submit a form, and it'll be
Yeah.
evaluated.
Yeah, and
That sounds
I think
reasonable?
I think it's very reasonable, and like everybody says, the field's pretty good out there. Yeah, and it was a deal, it was conditioned on holding up ends of the bargain, and he hasn't done it, especially with the maintenance, so that I don't know even what the form said, if there was a limit on, but it was a trial program to see if it would work. And just as Matt said, okay, we gave it a try, and but it hasn't worked out as well as we had hoped. So
What are your thoughts, Don?
That's fine, all that stuff, but what about the maintenance of Town Woods Park fields? I mean, Little League has some equipment in the building up there.
Took it out.
They have equipment in the building up there, they have access to the building, stuff like that. He does not. He
At Town Woods, right now?
does not have access to either place.
Even at Town Woods, and Michelle put it fast, you're gonna use the field, all it takes is a rake.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying, if he doesn't do it at one spot, what makes you sure he's gonna do it at another spot?
Garbage, water bottles,
I didn't witness it, some of my other members did, that when there were games, the visiting teams, and even our home team, leaving garbage in the dugouts, leaving garbage overflowing outside of the other receptacles.
that's unacceptable.
Don,
Oh, go ahead.
just a question for Don as a follow-up. When there is a form submitted, whether at Town Woods or Little League Park,
Same form.
same form, are there conditions of use on it? Meaning, you can get approved, but you have an obligation, and your access is contingent on fulfilling that end of your bargain. Is that
That's
not?
got a list of stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think, I agree. If he didn't upkeep one place, he's likely not to upkeep another. So I think if you were to approve his further use at Town Woods, we would want to be very clear as to what the conditions are.
Right.
And the revocation of that if those conditions aren't met.
Right, and I think it's especially important if he's playing games there, just for people to go out and practice. I mean,
And the thing is, kids in that team pay on that team.
I don't know.
I don't know, I've asked Don to please get a roster.
Travel programs, I want to go through it quickly. The initial 20-some-odd years ago, for high school aspiring athletes, baseball, softball, and this is where college scouting changed, was it was a lot easier for a college scout to go to a showcase tournament comprised of these travel teams, because now they're going to see 25, 30 teams all in a weekend. Well, in the 20, 25 years, that's watered down now to where it's not just 18, 17, 16-year-olds that are playing. The major division I programs are looking at, it's crazy, but it's true, 14-year-old kids. And those kids can sign letters of intent. They're not binding, but the kid can say, hey, I'm going to USC. Well, now nobody else may touch them if they really won't, but the travel programs where they start with facility access. And we are one of the only municipalities that doesn't have a fee schedule for our outdoor fields that I know of. Most certainly not for our baseball or softball field. And so you start there and say, okay, I'm going to have a home facility. These are the dates. They work it out. How does that be? If there's a cost, okay, that gets incorporated into registration fees, which include, nice uniforms, several nice uniforms. Some of the bigger programs, their coaches are paid, and paid lucratively. And you don't have to go down south, have to pay $5,000 for a season for your kid to play with down south, you pay 10, 15,000 that they're paying year-round. And some of those folks, I don't believe that Nick was looking to get paid. I think he was looking to keep his costs down, which I understand, because you got facility rental fee, you've got umpires. You've got to pay for those things. Very much like the travel ban programs, gymnasiums, same kind of thing. And he had I know in his mind, and other towns do it, the travel team is kind of sort of like the all-stars of your Little League team. You know, like you'd have 3 or 4 Little League teams. Well, that travel team is an offshoot. I can't do that. I will lose my charter. And Little League will no longer exist here in the town of Lima Line. And I will be persona non grata in sport. And the policy from Little League, because there is a battle. Little League hates travel. I don't hate it. I think it's great, and I think we're very user-friendly on our end of it, in that, hey, there are participation mandates with Little League. You miss practice, I don't have to play it, kind of. We don't enforce any of that. We are, Little League is all-inclusive, All-Stars is exclusive. That's it, travel ball, exclusive. Not everybody gets to play on that team. I understand that. But I can't, by Little League rule, let any travel program use any equipment that we bought.
No, we got that.
You know,
Yeah.
I just can't. Whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter. I can't. I'm not going to risk our charter.
No, I appreciate we got that information from you too, that you sent it to Don.
Yeah. Well, I can make a ton of money if I want to do a travel program, believe me. It's not.
No, we want to develop kids and have kids have fun at whatever the sports are.
On here, geez.
Somebody did it for me.
Yeah.
And I played at the highest level you can play at. So, I get it. I'm not here for that.
No, we're not saying you are, Matt. I think it's pretty obvious, because we have a motion that because of not upholding the agreement, especially to maintain fields, and because of anticipated scheduling conflicts in the fall, that we rescind Mr. Spira's his invite or whatever the word is, play it at Cross Lane Fields, but if he fills out a facilities form, he can then practice and play out down Woods Park. Something like that. Sarah, you want to?
I thought you were articulating the motion so well. Just on, yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, something, yeah.
But I didn't get to, okay, I said we would move that because of Mr. Spear not upholding the agreement and scheduling issues with Little League.
Especially in reference to maintenance of the fields.
Reference to maintenance. That we would send Mr. Spera
What's the word,
that he
resend?
may only play at Cross Lane Field, and then providing he fills
We
out.
rescind his privilege to play. Is it the word rescind? That, like we're saying he can't play it.
Oh, rescinding?
Yeah.
I think so. Rescinding
Yeah.
his permit from the June meeting.
Yeah.
And directing him to file a new form to access town
And
votes,
practices for your first game.
A facilities use form for
facilities use form
for
town votes.
with a proposed schedule.
Supposed to spend soccer.
Okay.
I don't have it.
We
Okay.
would move that because of Mr. Spear not upholding
These are the hardest things to put them
conditions
on.
of the facilities use agreement.
Condition
Of the facilities form as approved at the June meeting.
June or was it May?
I missed one of them, and it was whichever one I missed. Was it the June or May
I'll
meeting?
look it up.
In particular, with respect to maintenance of the field,
In particularly,
in particular with respect to maintenance.
Okay, can we reread that and have another discussion on it and then vote?
And due to anticipated direct schedule conflict.
to anticipated direct.
No, anticipated scheduling conflicts, because you do have a schedule?
They just came out, yes. The game schedule just came out.
Okay,
And that's why I'm like, okay, we've got all these teams, we're going to
Okay.
use it.
Okay.
With Little League, oh yeah. Send Mr. Spira a notification. Rescinding the approved use form.
previous
They're the
use form
ones that can't
of land.
get anything done.
Approved use form. Geez, this is a long motion.
Well,
There was a lot there.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sure is.
okay, you ready to read it, Mary Ellen?
No, we're gonna direct him to fill out a new use form for Town Woods, is that what we're
Right.
saying?
Yes, and he's expected to help in maintenance the field. We don't have anybody that does anything on the baseball fields, right, Don? Other than mow the lawn, nobody puts lines on it or
We
anything.
don't put lines on, no. Well, we paint the outfield lines.
Only in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he would be expected to do all that. If it, yeah. I know it's too much, but we have to deal with it. Okay, ready? Go, Mary Ellen. So this is the motion we're gonna hopefully vote on, if we can get a second.
Because of Mr. Spira not upholding the conditions of the facilities use form as approved at the June or May meeting, I have to look it up. In particular with respect to maintenance and due to an anticipated
Scheduling conflict.
direct scheduling conflict with Little League, we would send Mr. Spira notification rescinding previously approved use form for Cross Lane and direct him to fill out a new use form for Town Woods Park.
Sounds good. Would somebody make a motion? Sarah, you made that motion. Second, somebody gonna second that? Mary Ellen, you
I'll
gonna
second
second? Okay, Ryan will second it.
Orion, okay.
Okay. All right, so let's have any more discussion on that? Anybody? I think we pretty well discussed it.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll have a vote now. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay, that motion's passed. And I guess we'll set, Don, if we can, you and Winnie can send something to him about that. And plus to find out if he's gonna apply for the field and what his roster is.
I'll handle it.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you, Don. All right, guys, sorry, we're sorry it didn't all work out. But, okay, we're on to the next thing. Director's report, update on PRC programs and facilities.
All right. First off, obviously, Mary Ellen, I have this, I'll send it to you tonight or tomorrow morning. Summer season has essentially been completed, and I'd like to extend my thanks to our entire staff for a good job well done all year. Parks and Recreation has never had more summer program participation, nor have we had more staff employed than we did this year. So it was very busy. Upcoming fall programs, just as a reminder, Rec Desk registration is required for all Parks and Rec programs. All details are listed on Rec Desk and are advertised on the Parks and Rec website, Facebook, and Instagram. Fall Youth Soccer Program, open to Lyme and Old-Lyme residents pre-K to grade 5. Registration was open August 7th through September 6th. our coaches organizational meeting is scheduled for Saturday, September 9th. The season is scheduled to run on Saturday, September 16th through October 28th at Townwoods Park. To date, as of today, there were 235 participants registered. Co-ed adult soccer. Fall session is planned to run on Sundays, September 10th through October 29th, from about 4 to 6:30 at Townwoods Park. Program is free for Lima Lime residents and is a $35 non-residence fee. Registration was open August 7th through the 6th, or maybe later, and teams hope to be formed prior to the start of the season. And there are currently 39 participants registered, and we're having a little meeting on Saturday to organize that. Adult basketball. Fall open gym sessions are at the Lima Lime High School. They started Wednesday, the 6th, and they'll go through November 29th, and they'll start on Sundays, the 10th, and go through November 26th, from 10 to 12 on Sundays and from 6 to 9 or so on Wednesdays. There will be some Tuesday sessions in there based on the high school volleyball schedule. There's no fee for Lima Lime residents. Non-residents is a $40 fee with a $5 drop-in fee, and to date there are 27 participants registered. Adult volleyball. Fall open gym sessions are planned to run next week on Thursdays, September 14th through November 16th from 6 to 8 at the high school. There's no fee for Lima Lime residents. There's a non-resident fee of $35 with a $5 drop-in fee. And to date, there are 31 participants registered. Zumba toning. Fall sessions are scheduled to run on Tuesdays or possibly some Mondays, September 12th through October 30th, 5:30 to 6:30 at the center school. There's a $70 fee for 8 sessions or a $10 drop-in fee, and to date there are only 3 participants registered. Yoga sessions. Fall sessions will be determined. Looking forward to next summer, our CAS soccer camp is scheduled for Monday through Friday, August 5th through 9th, 2024, and we held at Townwoods Park. As far as facilities, Townwoods Park is open daily and in use mostly by Lima Lime Soccer Club. The fields are in great shape overall, and there was no major problems noted during the summer season. Fields are being lined out for the upcoming fall soccer schedules, for both the soccer club schedules and for Parks and Rec. Haynes Park is open daily. There was minimal problems during the summer season. Rowing activities have been in process all summer and will be continuing in the fall. And as you might hear later from Sarah, geese continue to be problematic at the park. Swim lines at the park have been removed. White Sand Beach remains open daily. The beach was very busy all season. There were minimal problems with the bathroom facility, but as I stated last meeting, I'm recommending that a committee be formed to examine upgrades and or replacement of both the bathroom facility and the gazebo. The swim lines and the lifeguard chair are scheduled to be removed shortly. Swim lines at Sound View are the only part of this area under the direction of Parks and Rec. There were minimal problems with them overall, and the swim lines are scheduled to be removed shortly. Cross Lane Park is open daily and in use by Lima Lime Little League and the general public. The reconstruction of the basketball courts and the tennis pickleball courts has started. The tennis court fencing has been removed. Both areas have been reclaimed, graded, compacted, and were paved today. There will be a 21-day waiting period after paving before the courts can be painted, and we have to decide on the color scheme how you want the courts, and updates of those projects will be provided as they appear.
Gee, that's good. That happened quick.
Ta-da.
Do we have to approve the colors, or?
Well, I think that the court should remain green. It suits the park atmosphere better.
Yes.
With just the off-white lines, the basketball courts, just like we had last time.
Right.
And I think the pickleball tennis courts should remain green. The only difference with the same color lines, but the only difference on the pickleball areas right near the net is usually a different color than the rest of the court.
Called the kitchen.
called the kitchen?
The kitchen's a different color usually.
I thought that was a joke. That's really what it's called?
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that the color scheme is fine, just that, yeah, and so just to proceed with that, yeah, and whatever the color of the kitchen are. I don't know.
And when he knows what it is, you should.
Yeah, yeah, you help Don pick out the color that you want for the kitchen. It's usually, well, I'm not,
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
yeah, you guys will figure it out, okay. As far as, a committee, can we have suggestions about what, you would need a new pavilion out there, you need a new, I remember there was talk about years ago when we first fixed up the White Sands Beach bathrooms, that it was agreed by the commission that we shouldn't put a wooden structure up, a stick structure. It should, because of the pounding it takes with some of these storms, that the concrete.
Should be a block building, just like it is now.
Yeah, but do you think that has to be bigger or expanded, or
Well,
what?
it certainly has to be bigger because it's not handicap accessible now.
Yeah, but if it's not handicap accessible, is it grandfathered in?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
If you start to upgrade the building, then you have to comply with everything. I don't think you could make that building compliable.
No, I don't. I think it's best just to leave that building the way it is. I mean, right? Would you agree, Don?
No, I think there's a need for a new building there.
That building's pretty old.
Yeah, it's old.
It's so old, it's too small to function.
It's too small.
I can't even personally sit down in that.
I think
It is.
a new bathroom facility is needed, and I think a new gazebo is needed.
Yeah.
The
Now.
new gazebo, I tried to replace that 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Got rejected by Board of Finance.
Yeah, that gets. You say, well, just the years of sand is helping to hold that base together.
That's what holds it together.
Yeah, that's.
When the water comes up over the beach and fills up the parking lot, usually a wooden structure will move.
But it hasn't.
That one doesn't.
Well, maybe the sand became some sort of concrete.
It needs to be replaced. And
Yeah,
the bathrooms need to
okay.
be upgraded too.
All right, can we push this to the next meeting to come up with it? Everyone think about if you would like to be on the committee to upgrade this, or no one wants to be on. Well, I think it's with merit to start exploring these things, but that certainly would then have to be in next year's budget if we ever got approval, correct?
Well, you have to know by this fall.
Right.
Yeah.
I start putting my budget together next month, probably, depending on when they hand them down, to be completed usually by the 1st of November. I mean, things can be added. If not, something's not done by November 1st, it can be added, because I won't go in front of the Board of Finance until probably January, February.
Would it be along the lines of, say, what's down at the lake?
Yeah,
That kind of size?
yeah.
We know.
If it can fit. It's got to be reconfigured because there's obviously space confinements at White Sand Beach. The back of the building is on the property line. You can't go that way at all.
I
Make the
think,
building longer, I think, and eliminate some of
Even
the,
go to that, or the new zoning laws are probably different.
I don't know.
well, I mean, it goes right to the property line, which we have to then get zoning approval probably.
I'm sure you got to go through all that stuff.
Gotta go through all that stuff.
It could take all winter to get the.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm guessing that nothing will happen with this thing for next year.
Right.
Based on what's still going on at Haynes Park and finishing up that stuff and all, et cetera.
Right.
But the longer you wait to start it,
okay.
it's going to take.
Okay, I would ask the commissioners to think about, anyone want to volunteer with Don and a couple commissioners, you think is okay for a little committee?
Let them think about it. I need help.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, okay, we'll put that on the agenda for next
this
meeting.
year's budget, I mean,
Huh?
we could put something in it. Can it be a part of a capital expense or no?
I'll have to talk to the finance people about that, but probably.
I
Yeah.
mean, even if we could put 20,000 away just to hold
Well,
it.
right, so, or something similar to what they did with
know
the
it's
tennis
gonna
courts.
be-
They might have to put money away for
A good
New
amount of
Year's.
money.
I'm going to start doing that type of stuff better than we have done it in the past for major projects, like the tennis courts, for example. It took us 3 years to come up with the money for the tennis courts and pickleball courts and everything. So to avoid that happening and having to wait, I'm going to start that process now for the next replacements.
Okay, I think it's a good idea, and at the next meeting, we're going to ask for volunteers from Park and Rec to help with Don. Don would be the point, you would be on this committee, correct? You want it done, you want it done. And maybe if we could get a couple commissioners to help out. And then also, Don, talk to the finance people about what, you said you were going to talk to them about what the best tact is to do this?
Right. Starting putting money away now.
Yeah.
Before the project even starts.
Yeah, okay, and we'll bring this up.
And I've already been doing that based on other projects. I'm already starting to think about repainting tennis courts after 2 or 3 years. You know, where do you get that money from? Just ask for it all of a sudden?
Right.
No, I'm trying to build it up. So you don't have to.
Yeah, well, at one point, I think you had a 5-year plan too, didn't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But it's going to be more inclusive than it.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, the recreational program is continually expanded in this town. I mean, the perfect examples was this summer, all the things programs we added that we didn't have previously. Okay, so we can bring that up at the next meeting. Ryan or Brendan, you have any thoughts on that, or you agree
Nope.
with what we
Yes.
said? No?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
yes, you agree? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
same.
Okay, good. All right, okay, let's move on then, to the next one, old business. We did the Little League already, so we have the PRC Subcommittee for Town Enhancements at Haynes Park update. Sarah, Mary Ellen, you have a couple things?
Yeah, sure. So the latest is that we met last night, actually. It was our September meeting or 5th meeting. And we discussed primarily a plan of action to develop cost estimates and recommended allocations of funds to facilitate our proposal for Haynes Park, which would first be presented to the fundraising committee from the initial fundraising effort, which is comprised of Greg Hack, Skip Sibley, and Candace Fuchs. And we would present that in October, and with the plan to have the HPEC present a proposal to this commission at the November 2nd meeting. I was asked at the meeting last evening to softly float some of the items that the committee has developed as it's thinking towards its proposal, or recommendations that we plan to present, specifically with respect to the fund allocation, meaning we have approximately $50,000 in funds through the Haynes Park fundraising pot money, and that only goes so far. And we have identified certain items for enhancement of Haynes Park that we think are best allocated by town funding or park around on that. So I would propose to just kind of go through the list that we discussed last night. I can nominally or notionally state kind of the bucket of money where that funding would come from, just to kind of get the sense of this commission preliminarily for guidance, to then feed back to the committee. I'll say on the list, the biggest priority alluded to for Haynes Park enhancement is to resolve 2 threshold issues. One is the goose mitigation issue, and 2 is the Route 1 drainage that comes of and washes out the area close to the boathouse, but maybe also extending into the beach area. Those 2 issues will be challenges to resolve. I said a threshold because it's the most beneficial to ensure that participants have the best potential to do well by resolving those issues first. So for just kind of going through the list, the goose mitigation, which would include things that we have tried previously that have failed, new things that we have not tried previously, like fake coyotes, potential attractive fences, barrier plantings, water fountains, and other mechanisms to deter the geese, trying to take an all facets approach to this issue. Don advised that previously town money was allocated to this effort, potentially in the magnitude of $20,000 between Haynes Park and Town Woods. It was taken out of the budget, not by Don. It was not struck out, I guess, not approved.
Taken out by Board of Finance.
By Board of Finance, thank you. So for goose mitigation, we would propose that be town funding. I guess I should pause with each one and just kind of see the thoughts preliminarily from the group, or I can go through the whole list and we can kind of revisit them. I don't know.
Are we going to get minutes from your meeting?
We will.
No.
Mary Ellen did prepare them. I just haven't had a chance to look at them.
So maybe we could look at the whole list then and discuss it more next
The
week.
problem is we are planning to meet at a quick cadence because of the timeline for presenting the proposal from the HPEC. So we do want to meet again on the 26th. So it would be helpful just to even just gauge preliminarily, like, does trying to seek reinstatement of town money for goose mitigation seem logical?
Well, what would we've tried several approaches out there, and nothing seems to have worked. What's the new proposal you have that might work, besides with fencing? I mean,
we'll kind of get into the details. I'm thinking more, I think the feedback that the committee is frankly looking for is, does it make sense to recommend that this be town money? I mean, that's what I understood from last night.
That's what I think, yeah.
Well,
As far as, what's the question that we're asking tonight? To not belabor this.
yeah, well, we used to have town money that did that, but the things we tried didn't work. There was a thing out there that made some noise or something, and it didn't work. There was the border collie thing that didn't work. So what, I mean, yeah, it sounds fine, but what would be potential to get rid of them? We
Right. Into the details, I think I'm alluding to fountains, basic, or used in some success. There are the dogs.
in the lake.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that
And
would,
I mean, if we have to potentially engage a wildlife expert to advise on what strategies can be effective,
Yes.
that's kind of what the committee is trying to develop a proposal around. But for tonight, I would say that we would all agree that goose problem needs to be solved. And I think it's fair to say that the town should be investing in that effort. And that is,
I agree with that, because the town used to invest in that effort, so
okay.
I see no reason why that wouldn't be town funding.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The root run drainage issue is identified as a town and state problem. There's some history around it that even the committee is not fully aware of as to what's going on with trying to resolve it. It's been a long time issue, so that would.
I think we're going to discuss that at new business. One of the things was to redo that, the boathouse driveway, lip and entrance and prevent water, as much water going down there as we're experiencing. So I'm going to get into that.
Okay, great. The playground, that we have Park and Rec funding of $60,000. There is also $20,000 that was allocated toward Haynes Park parking lot that may be used, and then the PAC fund supplement that if needed.
Well, we just expanded the parking lot, was it 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago or something?
I think so.
Yeah, we added 11 or 12 spots. It's a small park, and I don't foresee that we're going to make any.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to expand the parking lot.
Yeah.
There was $20,000 left over from the Haynes Park parking lot money.
$20,000 that included parking lot expansion and possible fencing around the perimeter.
Right.
Which doesn't seem like that's going to happen, and the parking lot was expanded by Public Works.
Right, so I would say that money could potentially be allocated towards anything in the playground. Is how the committee has discussed it.
You mentioned the extra
But
last playground.
is there a separate 20,000? I know there was 16,000 something for a fence. And that was more for, what was it?
Yeah, it was designated for a fence and the parking lot expansion.
Yeah.
Wasn't used. So I'm guessing they could, with permission, allocate that money to something else.
Sounds
in
reasonable.
Park.
Yeah, sounds reasonable, yeah.
That's what she's saying.
Okay.
Sorry if I didn't say that clearly. That's what I was saying. Thank you.
Okay, no, I'm just, okay, go ahead.
The next item, topsoil and sand, grass, edging, and plantings, all we identified as, again, town money. The potential foot showers would be the Haynes Park Fund. Regular upkeep maintenance would be town fund. Bulkhead dock, as discussed previously, for location of the year, then town. And sorry, I should have started with work and render, would be from the HPEC fund.
I believe that, what are they, BSC, what are they, BSC?
No, they're-
PSC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they owe Phil a final drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would,
Yep.
Phil could probably help out with that, with those guys.
Right. And then finally was a potential pergola and picnic table, and the committee discussed again.
Pergola or pavilion, because we've already put money down for a pavilion, which was requested in their fundraising, which, by the way, they all get this.
They did, and we discussed it.
Yeah, okay.
We reflected in the minutes. Right. So
You're calling pergola the same thing as pavilion?
no, I was using those terms separately.
Throwing out a
We were
bunch of
throwing out a
things
bunch of
that
thoughts.
could work. I don't think
We've already committed $5,000 for a pavilion, as was requested by, in fact, I think at one point, it said that their major donor had requested.
Yeah, no, I understood, and that was discussed last night. I think the upshot of it is, in the case that the committee recommends that there not be a pavilion, there would be a strategy pursued around seeking reimbursement of the $5,000 to the Haynes Park Fund and allocating that project to another use, such as White Sands. But again, those details are to be, this is just me reviewing these. Nothing has been formally submitted to this committee or this commission, and I just was hoping to get preliminary feedback to report back to the committee.
As far as the grass situation is concerned, we certainly can improve the grass situation, but for the amount of foot traffic going into that boathouse and back, I think it's very hard to mow grass unless there's a sidewalk all the time or walk on the beach. How are you going to have grass growing? There's a lot of foot traffic, but that's just my opinion. And certainly where those reinforced turf cobs are, never going to grow grass in there. That's not going to work.
What did you say?
At the bottom of the driveway, there's reinforced turf, but it's basically looks like honeycombs, like hard plastic there, and an attempt was made to grow grass there, but with the amount of foot traffic, it's just not going to work. Anybody else like to comment about any of this, or? And I think, yeah, that we got a good deal on a pavilion that's we've already ordered, and I don't know why we'd want a pergola rather than, in my opinion.
That was just a mention.
It was just mentioned as.
Just a mention.
Yeah,
Other
that-
things are like
that-
estate sales, that you can bring in, like this.
I
don't think a million is gonna fly.
yeah, well, it's too bad. I don't know how we're going to resolve that. It's even in their flyer that's what they
Well,
were.
we know that, Bob, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna fly.
Okay, well, it'll be our decision, Parks and Rec's decision, to make that final determination. What else?
Well, the other thing, Candace came as a guest, and she mentioned, a kayak rack.
We've already went over that, and if we had kayak racks, then we have racks for canoes. And we've already
went over that, and we're not gonna do that out there. I don't know why it's brought up. I mean, they could even say people who could put shelves outside somewhere for rowing this.
That was just, and then she brought up the water fountain.
Water fountain, you can use potable water in the bathroom. Well, bottles in there. They don't, water fountains aren't really much anymore other than just to fill up water bottles.
Okay.
And the foot wash business, initially, there was an idea about a shower and a foot wash, but there's sand down there. If you had that, you would create mud already. Said shower. You don't need it's wet, fresh water. It's not salt. Like a lot of people sometimes get allergic to salt water. It's fresh water. I don't know if I would put even a foot wash down there, but that's why.
I don't know, I think that might be kind of nice. If I had little kids, I might.
I agree with that. Absolutely should pursue potential consideration of a foot wash.
Yeah, but then
I bring my kids down there, and we can't even get into the car on a safe basis in our minds. Now, resolving that would maybe create less of a need for a foot shower, but I hope that's given consideration at the appropriate time by this full body. But again, this is preliminary. Indulging me for the amount of minutes I've taken on
okay, so we'll get your minutes so we can see all this stuff, and we continue discussing this. Brendan or Ryan, you have anything you'd like to say?
No, just appreciate
nothing
Sarah
for me.
Bringing,
No.
just appreciate Sarah bringing the preliminary ideas, and I think there's a lot of good ideas, and I look forward to having a full discussion on all of them.
Yeah, me too, yeah. And, so, okay, that's where we're at with that, and we'll continue to pursue, and thank you so much for spending so much time on it, Sarah and Mary Ellen and your other committee members.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Now we're on to any other new business, and I got from Bill Barczyk, who's volunteering to help with some of these projects down at White Sands Beach and is also a volunteer member of your committee. He got another estimate from Sullivan Paving, which was less than...
Wait, for White Sands?
Haynes Park.
Even Haynes Park.
For Haynes Park, for the
Oh.
boathouse driveway and you know, putting a lip on the driveway and doing other things to improve the water flow that is now a problem because the water flow actually onto the basketball court, which it never should have. So it's been agreed we're going to do this by first selectman agrees it has to be done. Now I only got
This would be upgrades to the
boathouse entrance to the boathouse driveway. And that I'll be seeing that I only got it this afternoon, and Tim Griswold only got it this afternoon, and Don Bugby will discuss the Sullivan paving versus Anton paving, which actually comes in, Sullivan's almost $2,000 less than what Anton was, so we'll see if we can continue on that, but that should help some of the water issues that go down
I guess
that way.
I'm confused about the water issue, the drainage at the,
There's two places.
yeah, I'm always thinking, I forgot that there's a driveway, but there's also where they put in all the rocks that go by the boathouse.
Oh.
The rocks in the ground, like, it kind of looks like.
No, there's something that the state did, how many years ago, 30 years ago?
I don't know.
Oh, it was a very long time ago.
So
that
are
the
there
state,
two places where there's drainage from?
yeah, well, the one was the driveway because it didn't have a lip and it didn't have the proper elevation and it didn't have the proper slope to the driveway, which has to be resolved. And the other one, there is an entrance, there is a, what do you call, culvert or something, where water does come off Route 1 into, I know Phil, as the facilities director, who could probably best comment on this for your committee, did various mitigation procedures. One of them was to put gutters on the building. That has helped with the amount of water. I mean, that's a huge roof amount of water that came off and was by the boathouse building. The gutters have helped. He did some drainage things that have helped. So Phil is the one to really talk about
other things, because with the state, I think that's a whole different ballgame. We could do something on the property, but
Yeah, Phil wasn't able to attend last night, so we were getting updates piecemeal from him. He mentioned the paving. I think there was just lack of clarity around what project he was doing in the scope of it, I guess. Like the first I'm hearing around the lip and the paving and...
yeah, well, we proposed that over 3 years ago, and it didn't go anywhere,
So the NAT has nothing to do with, what's the part that has to do with?
that would be a town pays for that, yeah.
Okay, so what's the part that's coming from Route 1? I think.
There's right past, as you go towards Town Woods Park, Town Woods Road, there's a drainage. I don't know what it is.
That's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, and Phil did do things to mitigate the amount of water coming in through there, but I think he's certainly, especially with the gutters, has done a lot for the flooding problem. I don't know if there's still a big problem there. Is there still a big problem, or
With the runoff?
with the flooding around the building or something? I mean, before it was so bad, the water came in the door.
It was reported that they did a bunch of seed and
But it all landed in the lake after.
and it washed away.
What washed away?
New seed and grass that was planted near the boathouse. That was reported at the meeting.
Could we have, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name that takes care of Town Woods Park. Can we have him take a look at what he would suggest to do for? Dan, all right, Dan.
What's he gonna do?
Doesn't
pave.
No, well, I guess the
park, the whole Route 1 side of Haynes Park slopes towards the water.
Right.
So water's coming in.
Yeah.
The whole length of the property.
Right, so I don't know really what you can do to avoid it, because I know on the first driveway, there is a lip, there is an elevation of 5 or 6 inches, so that the water that accumulates in the parking area is not because it's coming in through the driveway, it's because it's coming in just as a natural slope. And that's why,
Right.
I don't think there's anything really that we can do about that.
No, not on that side, but the boathouse entryway needs to be fixed.
And yes, and we're going to fix we will talk to Mr. Griswold about this new proposal that was requested. We get another estimate, and we have, and so we're gonna fix that. Town's gonna fix that.
Okay. So all these other enhancements are.
And I didn't hear anything about, certainly we have to create at least 3-foot handicap accessible walkway to wherever the
Sidewalk ends to the boathouse.
Right.
Has to be done, but not until the water issue is.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, I think at the meeting when we had Ed Adante there, that we said you could put more of this reinforced turf right up to the sidewalk.
Yes.
Because it's this area of a couple feet, that you don't have this reinforced turf, and that would be the easiest way. But you couldn't put the sidewalk all the way to that because of the amount of water that's coming down from the improperly installed boathouse driveway. So that's going to be done, that part. And we're going to need paths at least to the playground. Now, we've been told that the driveway itself, the parking lot itself with the cinder, millings or whatever it is, that is considered handicap accessible. So you're going to need something from the parking lot. I don't think it was on your list.
We're aware of it. It wasn't in the details.
That we're going to need something like that at least to the.
It'll go along with the playground.
Yeah.
Part of the playground installation.
Yeah, we got revised estimates on the playground. So I haven't seen those yet.
I can send them to you. I sent them to the committee.
Oh yeah, we should probably get a copy of that. We can discuss it more. at the next meeting.
Okay.
And did you pick out, there were 3 designs and.
We picked one out.
Yeah.
There's still some negotiation on the base for the thing.
Right, because it didn't include installation, I don't believe.
The new estimate includes an estimate for the playground equipment, the installation, and the base that this thing sits on.
Right.
The base that it sits on is the part that I suggested that they don't follow that one and just go to the wood chip model.
Okay,
Considerably cheaper.
okay, yeah.
That's very expensive.
Yeah,
base.
of course. So if we could get a copy,
It's $43,000.
Incredible.
how much is it?
$43,000.
Just for the base?
Yeah.
You could buy a car for that.
It's more than the playground itself.
Okay, is there a cheaper alternative,
Yeah.
a more cost
A
effective?
cheaper alternative is to box it in and put wood chips in there, like we did.
Somewhere we
down-
have a Town Woods Park, yeah. Okay, well, that's reasonable. Okay, and if we could, commissioners could get a copy of that revised estimate, that would be great, and what was picked out, so we have a heads up. Okay, all right, I don't have any more new business. Anybody else have new business? No? Okay, correspondence? No?
Well,
Any-
aren't we discussing them? Do we
Oh, no, we're gonna discuss that. I would like all the commissioners to be,
Okay.
here at the next meeting, have that discussion. Because I'm sure after our decision tonight with Mr. Spear, there'll be more involved with that. Any public comment out telephone land? Hearing none. Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay. Somebody second, please?
Second.
Second, okay.
Was
All
that
right.
Ryan or Brendan?
I think that was Ryan.
It was Brendan.
That was Brendan,
Ryan,
sorry.
Brendan.
Sorry, Brendan. Okay, all right, no more discussion. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay, it's approximately 7:17 or something like that. Meeting's adjourned, and thank you for attending, guys, on the phone. I'm gonna end the call now.